We're about to talk politics. I know that at one stage of the game I said we'd try and avoid politics for the next couple of weeks, but you can't because it's absolutely all over the place. The Premier comes out this morning. Jay Weatherill certainly doesn't lack confidence, the little bloke, and says, he said, we will win more seats than anybody else come the 17th of March. A gentleman who's joined me in the studio is William Bourke. He's the president of the federally registered party Sustainable Australia, and he's in Adelaide for the next couple of days or so. William, good morning and welcome to Adelaide. Welcome to 5AA. Tell us about this party of yours, the Sustainable Australia Party. What's that all about?
Good morning, Tony. Good morning to your listeners, and thanks very much for having me. Sustainable Australia, as you say, is a federally registered party. We've been around for a few years. If you like, our slogan is better, not bigger. We want to make sure Australia doesn't, grow out of control and lose what great things we've got in this country. Things like population need to be addressed. So in terms of focus, we've got to secure jobs, affordable housing, better planning to stop the overdevelopment, and a sustainable environment. They're some of the key things.
So what are you doing here in Adelaide? You've driven all the way from Sydney, you're across to Melbourne and along the coast road to Adelaide. What's the purpose of the visit?
Yeah, so we've got a mobile home that we've converted into a mobile office with big branding on it for Sustainable Australia.
Yeah.
We wanted to come across to Adelaide for two key reasons. One is that Nick Xenophon's representative in the seat of Mayo, the federal seat of Mayo, Rebecca Sharkey, is under a cloud at the moment with regard to dual citizenship. She may be referred to the High Court, and we may have a by-election in the next couple of months, in the next 2 or 3 months in Mayo. So that's the Adelaide Hills, and it goes right down to Victor Harbour.
So what do you intend to do, run a candidate up there?
We'd love to run a candidate in Mayo because the people of South Australia are telling us they're sick of politicians, in particular Liberal and Labor politicians, and they are looking for fresh choices. So Sustainable Australia provides that. So we're looking for a good candidate. We had a really good meeting in Stirling on the weekend with regard to our supporters. They're really keen to get involved and get behind someone if we can find the right person from Adelaide and South Australia to represent us.
So, William, who is that right person? What are the qualifications? What are the ticks that you're looking for?
Look, obviously someone with a bit of a community profile is great.
You're looking for a local, obviously, somebody who lives up there in the Adelaide Hills.
We really want someone who's a local. And obviously the electorate goes down to Victor Harbour as well, so it could be Strathalbyn or it could be Victor Harbour or Cape Jarvis, but someone in the electorate who knows the community, who can really represent the community and look at our values to diversify the economy, to achieve secure jobs for people in South Australia.
Because Rebecca holds the seat at the moment for the next Xenophon party, would you preferably be looking for a lady candidate?
I think it's great to have more female candidates in politics. We've got to make sure that women feel a part of the political system equally as men. So definitely would like to see more female candidates, but the best person for the job is really the key.
It's 20 minutes to 8. The criticism levelled at Nick Xenophon is that, OK, he's well known and he's a great media performer and he's all over the place, but he's not kind of announcing any policies. What are your policies? People say to you, the immigration policy at the moment. Where do you stand there?
Yeah, that's right. We talk to people and they like Nick Xenophon because he's not Liberal or Labor, but they struggle to articulate what policies he stands for. We've got really, really clear policies. And our key policy, I think, to achieve secure jobs and affordable housing and a sustainable environment is to lower our annual immigration intake.
Lower it, okay.
Lower it. Yeah. It's currently sitting at over 200,000 people per year.
What do you think it should be?
It should go back to just to the long-term average of 70,000 per year. No. That's a much more sustainable level.
And from where?
Basically, that would be a mix of the current refugee intake is only around 15,000, so that would stay as is. We would simply lower the skilled and the family reunion intake. So instead of having your partner and your mother and your brother, it'd just be your partner type thing.
So tighten it up in other words.
Tighten it up a lot, yep. And the skills area tightened up a lot, so we focus on local training and education.
William, what about the all-important issue of economy and the jobs? Are you for lowering taxes, for a bank inquiry? Where do you stand on those issues?
We definitely want a simpler, fairer tax system. We think that we've got a massive distortion in the Australian economy, and it's really impacting on South Australia.
What do you mean a distortion?
A distortion in terms of our tax system is really poorly structured. We've got massive tax reform required, particularly in the area of property. So people are speculating on property because we've got negative gearing and capital gains tax concessions, all these things to speculate on property, but that's not productive for the Australian economy. We need to reallocate that economic investment away from property and into our factories, our farms and our small business entrepreneurship. You know, the Holdens, the Cubby stations, that's where our money needs to be going, not speculating on property.
It's 17 to 8. We're talking to William Bourke, who's the president of the federally registered Sustainable Australia Party. William, the one of the big issues here, of course, is young people leaving in the state and the economy and all of those sorts of things. What could you do? What would you expect your candidate, if your candidate were to win the by-election, as we're expecting it to be up at Mayo? What instructions would you be giving to that candidate to actually take to Canberra and really represent South Australia?
Yeah, so I think it really comes back to that point I've just mentioned. I think an economically sustainable Australia with secure jobs in a more diverse economy, so that the point I mentioned before, too much of our mum and dad investments, our superannuation and our banking investment is going into property speculation. That's not giving young Australians opportunities in manufacturing, in agriculture and in small business, because banks are lending to property speculators rather than small business. So we've got to change that tax system away from property speculation, diversify the economy, give young people opportunities in that manufacturing, agriculture, small business like they had 30 years ago in South Australia and Victoria. So these are big federal issues that are affecting South Australia, and we've got to get that right in Canberra.
What's the feedback you're getting about our election come the 17th of March? How do you think it's going to pan out?
Yeah, I've had some great feedback. Yesterday I was in Hahndorf. I've been right across the coast from Victoria, places like Beachport and Robe, and just talking to people with the mobile office. People come up and have a chat. They're sick of politicians. Yeah. They're sick of Liberal and Labor politicians. They're talking about Nick Xenophon because purely he's not one of them.
Right.
But what is he standing for? They don't know. So that's really... It's a bit of a sad state of affairs, if I may say so. Really, there's no substance left at the moment. We need an injection of new politics.
William, if somebody would like to stand for your party or get in touch with you up there at Mayo, if indeed there is a federal by-election, and we're led to believe there probably will be, how do they go about it? What do they do? They give you a ring, send you a text, an email? What's the easiest way?
Just contact us through our website. You can either Google Sustainable Australia Party, or the website is sustainableaustralia.org.au, and they can just contact us through there. We're also looking for candidates for the federal election as well, which will that be this year? Who knows how Malcolm will go. So we definitely want Senate candidates and local candidates in South Australia as well in the lower house seats. So get in contact with us, subscribe to our newsletter and get involved.
William Bourke, thank you. Welcome to Adelaide. Nice to meet you, young man, and good luck with the campaign.
It's been fantastic to be here. Thank you.